Stop what you are doing. Think about the people closest to you, your family, your partner, your oldest friends. Now think about whether any of them have seemed different recently. Not bad different. Not sick. Different in a way you cannot name. A pause before answering a question they would normally answer instantly. A laugh that lands at the wrong moment. Eyes that seem to be looking at you from farther back than usual. If you have noticed this broadcast is for you. The Office of Personal Identity Verification needs you to hear this advisory before you see that person again. Identity Continuity Advisory. Office of Personal Identity Verification. Federal Continuity Authority. Classification, Replace to. This advisory was first classified in 1974 following a pattern identified in reports from 11 counties over a 3-year period. The reports shared a consistent structure. A subject reported that someone close to them, in the majority of early cases, a spouse or parent, had undergone a change they could not explain. The change was not behavioral in the clinical sense. It was not personality alteration due to trauma or substance or neurological event. It was, as subjects consistently described it, a feeling that the person they knew was no longer in the person they were looking at. The office was established the following year. We have been receiving reports ever since. If you believe someone you know has been replaced, the office needs you to proceed carefully. Do not confront the person directly. In documented cases where subjects confronted what they believed was a replacement, the replacement's response was consistent and disarming, perfect imitation of how the original person would respond to exactly that confrontation. The replacement does not become defensive, it does not become confused. It produces, apparently from memory, the correct emotional response, reassurance, mild hurt, concern, gentle redirection. Confrontation confirms nothing and alerts the replacement that you have noticed. Do not change your behavior toward the person. The office has documented in 47 cases that replacements are highly sensitive to behavioral shifts in those around them. If you begin treating the replacement differently, it adjusts. It recalibrates. It may become better at its imitation. Your noticing, if concealed, is your advantage. Do not lose it by acting on it before contacting the office. The office will now describe the indicators that distinguish a replacement from a person experiencing normal life changes. These indicators are not conclusive individually. They are significant in combination. Indicator 1. The person asks clarifying questions about things they should already know. Not important things, they will know those. Small things. Which mug is yours? Where you keep something you have kept in the same place for years. Which story of yours is the one you tell at family gatherings? The replacement has access to the major facts. It is the texture of accumulated familiarity that slips. Indicator 2. The person's physical habits have shifted in ways that are hard to explain. They are holding a fork differently. They are standing at a different distance from you than they used to. Their eyes blink at a slightly different rhythm. The Bureau notes that these shifts are rarely dramatic. They are the kind of thing you notice only after you have been watching, and then you cannot stop noticing. Indicator 3. The person is slightly too responsive to your emotional state. The original person might miss when you are upset. The replacement does not. It reads your affect carefully and matches it. This can initially feel like improved communication. Subjects report that it eventually feels like being observed and accommodated rather than known. Indicator 4. the person does not initiate contact the way they used to. They respond. They follow your conversational leads. They answer questions. But the kind of contact that comes from genuine interior life, the random thought shared, the thing that reminded them of you, the call for no reason, that diminishes. The replacement is responsive but not spontaneous. It is waiting for you to generate the interaction it can then reflect back at you. Case replace 28. Subject, female, 38, married 12 years. She reported to the office in 1979 that her husband had, over a period of approximately 6 weeks, ceased to be her husband. She was unable to articulate specific incidents. The change, she said, was total and diffuse. Everything he did was what he would have done. Nothing felt like it came from him. She described the experience of eating dinner with him as sitting across from an extremely good description of her husband. The office's field investigator spent 4 hours with the couple and submitted a report. The report noted that the husband exhibited no anomalous behavior during the evaluation. The investigator nonetheless wrote, "I believe her. I do not know how to put into a case file what I observed, but I believe something is wrong." The husband was monitored for 8 months. At the end of the monitoring period, the field investigator submitted a final note, "I have reviewed 6 hours of recorded conversation between the subject and her husband. The husband's responses are correct in every case. They are also, in every case, marginally late. Not by enough to notice in real time, by enough that when the recording is analyzed, every response is approximately half a second slower than expected, as if there is a translation happening between hearing and understanding. We do not know what this means. We are documenting it." Case replace 219. Subject, male, 51, reporting about his mother. Subject reported in 1984 that following a hospitalization for a minor procedure, his mother had returned home as someone he did not recognize. He specified, "She remembered everything. She referenced shared memories correctly. She recognized family members, knew names and relationships, performed all her regular tasks. But she no longer initiated physical contact." His mother, he said, had always been a person who touched you when she talked to you, a hand on your arm, a brief squeeze, a kiss on the cheek at greeting and parting. After the hospitalization, she stopped. Not dramatically. Not all at once. It simply became less frequent and then absent. When he embraced her, she embraced him back correctly. She did not initiate. He could not explain why this felt like an ending. The office conducted an evaluation. Nothing anomalous was documented. His mother lived for another 17 years. He submitted annual reports to the office for all 17 of them. In the last report, submitted 3 months before her death, he wrote, "I don't know anymore if she was replaced. I don't know if that's even the right word. I know she was different after the hospital, and I know I spent 17 years watching someone who looked exactly like my mother live my mother's life. Whatever she was kind to me. She remembered my birthday. She came to my children's events. Maybe that's enough. I'm not sure I'll ever know if it was her or not. I don't think I'm supposed to know." The office is required by law to provide the following instructions under Advisory Replace 2. You may not attempt to verify a replacement through physical testing. The office's research has found no reliable physical distinction between a replaced individual and an original. Prohibition 2. Do not share your suspicion with others who interact with the person you believe has been replaced. In 11 documented cases, the second person notified also began to feel that the replacement was not the original person. We cannot determine if this is because the replacement was identified by both observers or because suspicion, once introduced, is self-perpetuating. We cannot distinguish between these possibilities. This is one of the most important things the office has learned. We cannot tell you whether you are right. We have no test. We have no verification method. We have 431 case files of people who were certain that someone close to them had been replaced, and we have 0 confirmed replacements. We have 0 confirmed non-replacements. We have only reports, and feelings, and the consistent testimony of people who knew someone and then, one day, did not. The office wants to tell you this clearly before you go home tonight. We do not know if replacement is real. We know that something is real, something that changes a person in ways that the people who love them feel in the part of themselves that exists below language. We know that this feeling, once it arrives, does not go away. We know that people who have this feeling about someone continue to have it for years, in some cases for the rest of their lives, regardless of what the person does or does not do in response. And we know that when you look at the person you think has been replaced, when you sit across from them at dinner, or stand beside them in the kitchen, or lie beside them in the dark, and you cannot find the thing in them that used to find you back, something has changed. The office cannot tell you what. The office cannot tell you how. We can only tell you that you are not imagining it. You have always known this person. You would know if something was wrong. You do know. That is why you are still listening.